Hey guys, how are you doing today? This is Boost Brigade, and today I'm going to make a video about the knife that got me into knife collecting, and that's actually going to be the Benchmade Mini Barrage. For the longest time, I had been working in the auto industry, and I had went on the Snap-on truck, and I saw this little Kershaw, and I thought it was one of the nicest little knives I've ever seen, so I bought it, and I actually carried this Kershaw leak for about 5 years. So this is my little Kershaw leak that I have here, and as you can see, it's pretty well beaten up. I carried this for about 5 years, and I didn't even think about knives. I just kind of put it in my pocket and I carried it. And then as this one got older and older, I started to think maybe I should get a nice knife. So I started doing some research, and I found a company called Benchmade. And I didn't know a lot about knives at the time, but I went onto YouTube and I watched a bunch of videos, and it seemed like the Benchmade 940 was like the knife that everybody, was raving about, a quality EDC pocket knife and everything like that. The only problem with that is where I live, knife laws restrict me from carrying a 940 concealed. So I never did initially buy a Benchmade 940. So instead, I learned about Warren Osborne and his designs, and I decided to myself that I wanted a Warren Osborne design. So I looked around, and I came from a Kershaw leak, so at the time I thought that assisted knives were cool. I've evolved a lot since then, and I realized that a good manual knife is really the way to go. But anyway, after that, I went on there and I found the Benchmade 585 Barrage, and it was assisted, and I thought it was cool. And I bought the one with the 154 cm blade with the plastic handles. And when I opened it and I felt it in my hand, I just really knew, like, this is a good quality knife. So I started carrying that knife, and as I was using that knife, I started to get more and more into watching knife reviews and videos about knives. And so pretty much the Mini Barrage was the one that set me off on my knife collecting. So I originally had the 154 cm one, and I carried it every day, and I used the crap out of it, and I loved the spring assist at the time. I thought it was really cool. And with the Mini Barrage, the spring assist is almost like an automatic. It just really fires out with authority. So I just wanted to make a video on the Mini Barrage. It came in handy for me because the blade length is just under 3 inches, and it was a Warren Osborne design, and he recently passed away. But I really did like Warren Osborne's designs. So now, since then, I've gotten many, many more knives that are much more high end and low end, and all kinds of different knives. But just having a good quality knife in my pocket was what really set me off on my journey. This Mini Barrage right here, the original one I had looked very similar to this. This one has G10 handles here, and then it has OD green backspacer and the black hardware and internals. I actually got this one with a coupon because one of my knives were lost in the mail on the way to Benchmade. So they gave me a discount code to get this. And then since then I kind of collected the Mini Barrages for a little bit. And then they discontinued this one's the 585 Barrage, and I also have it in 20 CV steel right there. They discontinued the 586 Mini Barrage, which was like the next level up at the time, and I was really into this knife because I had been looking at Shirogorov knives with their M390, and at the time I thought that Shirogorov knives were really overpriced and super expensive, and I'd probably never have one. But I just found that the blade shape on the 586 was really nice, had a very high flat grind all the way down, and it used M390 steel, which I thought was great at the time. I still do. M390 is a really good steel. So I acquired this one many years ago, and I put the blades we love, titanium hardware on there, blue anodized screws. Um, and then I carried this one for a long time too. But I just really love the feel of it. I love the aluminum bolsters, everything like that. So I'd start collecting these for a little bit. And then this one was actually a special limited run mini barrage 586. And this one has the DLC blade, and it's got the carbon fiber handles. It's the Forum knife from 2017. They only made like 200 of these. So I haven't really carried this one. I just kind of saved this one because it's really nice and I love carbon fiber. And so I have this one right here. And then I don't really like the black blades too much, but I got this one when they were discontinuing it, so I got it for a really cheap price. I think I paid like 130 bucks for it at the time. So it wasn't my first choice, but it was on a closeout deal, so I had to get it. And then later on I found another 586 on eBay that I purchased, and this one is just a satin blade with the M390. And basically when I got the knife, it was pretty much pristine, but the blade was all it had a lot of I guess it would be like fading or oxidization. I don't know what the guy did with the knife, but it had like these permanent stains in the blade. So I sent it back to Benchmade, and I just paid for a new blade. And Benchmade has a really good lifetime warranty, and I think it was only like 30 bucks to get a new blade on it. But yeah, the mini barrage, they weigh about between 3.7 ounces to 3.86 ounces, depending on if it's the plastic one or the G10 version. They also have one with S30V steel, which I don't have. I just really like the design of the mini barrage. I like both of the blade shapes. This one has that really cool, stubby drop point blade, and I just really like it. It's kind of like an old-fashioned kind of blade. And yeah, that's pretty much the knife that got me going on my knife collecting experience. And since then I've found out that Benchmade, they have really good quality, but their fit and finish, sometimes they mess up on the grind, sometimes they mess up on lots of little details that are, more and more important to me as I collect knives. But what I found is that if you send the knife into Benchmade, they 100% take care of it. So I do like Benchmade as a company. I've kind of moved up the rung of collecting knives to more premium knives. And it just kind of opened my horizon to the whole knife collecting EDC world. But it's a great knife, and this is the knife that really set me off on my journey. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.